or by listening to the audio at Achieve Radio. I do want to tell you that after the show, if you like your reading, you can come to me at thecallingoflight.com, and I offer readings 15 minutes for $30 and half an hour for $60. I've been reading tarot for over 40 years, and I am a certified reader with many, many, many years of phone reading as well as in-person readings. Some people will ask me, what is more accurate, a reading in person or a reading by phone? I would have to say, for me, there is no difference. The one difference about reading by phone is there is no body language reading. Now, I am very aware that many people, especially if you watch readings on television, will look directly in a person's face, or, they just seem to be very good at tuning into the body language of a reader. And like any good cop or any good psychiatrist, reading body language gives a ton of information. So, for me, in my personal readings, it's very important not to look at my clients when I'm reading for them. I either keep my head down or I look out a window in my studio. Once in a while, my head will go up, and I do it unconsciously if I found a point that really hits me. But for the most part, reading in person should be no different for most people, especially that read tarot, because you're reading energy. When you get a reading on the phone, there is obviously no body language reading. And for me, it's like holding my head next to my client's head and feeling their breath against me, and as we read. So it's a very actually personal thing when I read by phone, because I have found that sharing breath and sharing voice on a phone is just as exclusive and intimate of a reading as in person. So therefore, for those who would rather have a reading with their reader in person, it's more about preference. Maybe you like seeing your reader. Maybe you like being in person and watching the cards. That's totally understandable. But for the most part, I would have to say that there is no difference for me. Now, for those of you that read tarot, maybe you're wondering, what is the best way to store my cards after I'm done with them? And again, it's a matter of preference, but I do believe that whatever you do, whether you wrap them in a scarf, whether you put them in a velvet bag, whether you put them in a pine box, I always like putting crystals and incense in with my cards. Not only does that give the cards a wonderful mystical aroma as they're being shuffled, but also I believe that the crystals and the tarot kind of stimulate the energy. Some books will tell you that you should, when learning how to read, put your tarot cards under your pillow. I cannot imagine For me, when I connect with my cards, it is as if I am channeling energy, channeling spirit. And so for me, I think I would be too aware of the cards being next to me that closely. And I'm afraid that I would just never stop reading. I believe that my dreams would be affected. I believe that for the most part, when I get done reading, and I do read full time, it is very important to me that I put them in a box or put them in a bag or a scarf, and most of the time in a drawer or in a box, because I do not want to in any way connect with spirit once I'm done. And this brings up another point. There are many people that, and a lot of spiritualists do this. They get first involved in Reiki, or they get involved in massage, or maybe they get involved in tarot or anything, or mediums, where they feel it's imperative that they walk up to a stranger and tell them what they feel about them. Or maybe a Reiki person will start to, without permission, say, gosh, I think you need some healing. How about just letting me put hands on you to heal with this energy I feel? I think with the right people that would be flattering, but you never forget that there are always invisible boundaries with everyone that we talk to. And in most cases, people do not like having those boundaries intruded upon. So having someone walk up to them and start to predict the future is not a wonderful thing for them. And I know that many mediums on television do this, but you have to realize they have cameras, and they have permission from probably a show around them with someone that is asking that person if they have permission to read them. I very seriously doubt, and I believe that sometimes it happens, but for the most part, when someone has a camera, a TV camera following them, it gives credibility. And a lot of people will feel honored to be a part of a show. But on the other hand, just to walk up to someone at an airport or at a event that has nothing to do with reading and start to read them is an intrusion. So it is my belief and my practice that once I am out of a house, that's where my reading stays, and I never try to intrude on people's lives with what I feel or think, any more than I would walk up to someone and say, you know, I don't like that color of sweater on you, or whatever else. So you might want to consider that next time, that if you are a reader, that it's not necessarily kosher to walk up to people. I personally call that psychic rape, because in all cases, we want permission to make love to someone, and we want permission to read for someone. And that's just the way that I see it, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, I'm going to go into the show kind of popped on me today quick, so I'm not completely into my room yet, and I will do that now. Again, remember that you can get a reading by calling 602-666-6027. That's 6027, not O. And if you want to inquick a question, please go to you can go to the Achieve video link on the top of the page, and there should be a board there to be able to, or I'm right here in the chat room so I can see your questions if you have something there. We do have Susan from Maine, Melissa from South Carolina. We have Brittany from, and does not have the location there to start out with. And I want to say that again, I love reading by phone, and I think it makes for an even better reading when I can connect with you. You don't even have to give your real first name. And in this wide media, I doubt very seriously that anyone is going to know who your voice belongs to. So again, don't be afraid to call 602-666-6027. So let's see here. All right, so we are going to go in here and look at what we have for Susan. And one moment here as I look at the board here. Yeah. Miss Susan says, "Good evening, Anne Marie. And sorry Joseph is not here today. I lost track of time. Joseph is on the first and second week of every month." And it says, "I am presently unemployed and would like you to see if I will find work soon and how you see my finances over the next 6 months. Thank you both." Well, Susan, before I look at a specific question on your finances, I'm going to do a brief reading on you just to see what comes through. And then I will answer your question. Again, for you brave souls, 602-666-6027 for getting a voice in there. I sure would appreciate it. All right, looking at Susan in the InQuick room. Here, Susan, is what comes up on you. Susan, it says at this particular time, you have been frustrated because things have not improved exactly as you would want them to, but it shows you rejoicing and celebrating within 3 weeks, or perhaps if we're lucky, that is February 3rd, that you will find a connection with a new job. At this particular time, it says, and I can look at this 2 ways, Susan. It says right now it's imperative that you stay confident. Don't allow yourself to shirk, and make sure every day you get out and apply for something different. The other interpretation would be if there was actually a male or partner around you that was helping you through a bad situation. The past shows that you have, and I don't understand what this means, but maybe, you do. It says that you have a secret, that you have something that you have not necessarily spoken about today connected with a past job or something that happened at a past job. It can also say that perhaps you need to be more forthright at interviews. Maybe there is something about you that confuses interviewers, or it can also mean maybe there is somebody that is not necessarily being kind in a job search review, and that if at all possible, find out what you can about what your job reviews are saying. The future shows you being strong, and I show that you will find a lot of happiness and a lot of strength and a lot of financial balance. And I'm going to say that also, I'm not sure what this means. I have a legal issue. coming up in November. Now, I don't know if that means that you are presently in the throes of some kind of action, whether that has to do with a divorce or whether that has to do with an old job that did not necessarily treat you right. But the only other thing could be that possibly the job is actually in the legal department. So it shows celebration, 3 weeks, 3 months, a sense that you are surrounded in November by something that seems to be judging your performance as being strong and satisfactory. One of the things it says that you are nervous about is actually getting back in the job force. You have found that it's easier and actually kind of comfortable to be settled around your home. And as long as you have money coming in through unemployment or, have the ability to keep ahead a little bit, there seems to be a sense that the extent of that would be at the most 5 months. If you're fortunate enough to have unemployment, by November, that legality may be that you are just running out of funds. Your reading says that the one thing you're sick of, though, is that feeling that, yes, I think that you have enjoyed your time at home, but I think you would really enjoy some more money. And it says it may be creating an issue in your relationship or in your home life not to be able to get the things that you want. And it shows, again, that's, I just feel that right now it's important, A, not to be afraid of getting out in the workforce, B, be forthright about yourself and strong in your interview, and also understand that in conclusion, you may not find exactly the job you want, the first job that comes. But what matters is that you get out there and work. Because the longer you're without work, the longer you become unemployable in the eyes of recruiters, because they do see that the momentum and the ability to keep up and things like that begin to be out of touch. So get out there, look, and do anything possible. My feeling is it shows you celebrating in 3 weeks to 3 months. I'm going to say 3 weeks. So we're going to hope that you have that job and that good news is a job that's coming. But remember, if it's not exactly what you want, don't get too picky. Take what you can and keep on looking, but at least you're working. If I look at your finances in 2019, I've got February, not so good. March, real good. April, doing okay. May, doing fantastic. So that says to me that sometime in the end of this month, sometime in February, and your reading said 3, you will be working, and actually finances look pretty much okay for you, Susan. So enjoy Maine. I don't know what the weather is like there, but I think you're going to do okay. And that's what I have. All right, so we're going to look at another reading coming up here. And we're going to look at Melissa. Melissa is from South Carolina, and she says, hello, can you tell me if you see a relationship for me this coming year? And if possible, anything that you can tell me about him. Well, Melissa, I'm not a fairy godmother. I wish I were. But I can describe what I see. But please understand, as a multiracial reader, I try to stay away from physical descriptions because, first of all, I don't know if the description I see is compatible with you. And I also know that if I see you or I hear you, it's easier to be able to give you in-depth details. But Melissa, I will give you a reading on what I see on the subject of love, and then we'll go from there. So we're looking at Melissa. Looking at Melissa. Melissa, here's what comes up on love for you. I'm shown that you have an imagination that you have been thinking a lot about someone from your past or a relationship from your past. There is a sense that this can go two ways. One of the ways that it does not help you to continue to search for the rock star poster people that you used to be into is that they, as we get older, sometimes are not relevant to the new, more mature you. It also may mean that you still have feelings for somebody from the past. Your reading shows, oh my gosh, I feel like a repetition here now, that this is a great year for you to find love. And have you gone through a divorce, or are you going through one? Because justice comes up. Justice can also mean, if you are not going through a legal separation, that it's time for you to make better choices on the men that you meet, and to remember sometimes you just have to change the kind of guy in the Walmart dressing room that you used to be in too, because it's like trying jeans on that are way too small and they just don't fit anymore. The past shows that you went through some kind of trauma this year, or in the last 3 years, the number is 3, in which you saw with disappointment somebody that would not commit or be responsible to you. Your reading says, please understand, that situation needs to be flushed down the toilet. Do not look backwards. Do not search for old love and expect it to come back simply because you're lonely. Your reading shows that there is going to be somebody from your past that reconnects with you. And you're going to be very, very happy about that. But your reading is saying, watch out for what you wish for. Isn't it time to understand that if something from the past was going to work out in the future, it'd be working out now, and that you're much better off not jumping back 10 steps if you're starting to change your life for the better. Your reading shows the one thing you hate is change, and that one of the things that seems to be really needing to come through is you need to get out there more. I feel you're not in connection, or you're not circulating, or you're not out there finding the kind of people that you meet because you're not getting out enough. Your reading shows that one of the things that you may make a mistake about, Melissa, is that when the right person comes, because they don't fit into the personality of some of the guys that you used to be in the past, or they don't fit that rock star poster that you used to be into in the past, You may actually pass right over the one that would be perfect for you. So I'm warning you on that. Change your taste, and the right man will come. Look for somebody that represents what you used to be into but didn't work out. All you're doing is having another failure coming if you do that. In conclusion, watch out for jealousy. Jealousy will lose the man every time. And watch out for jealous men, because what seems flattering at first can be a pain in the butt. So what your reading is saying is that you will hear from somebody that you used to go out with or that you connected with, that you really got into. But your reading says watch out for wanting something that is not good for you. My feeling is, A, you need to get out there more in the right kind of environments so that you can meet the right kind of people. B, understand that you're older and wiser now, so stop looking for the rock star poster people that you used to be into. It's time for an update. And 3, don't turn away the one that could be perfect for you just because they don't fit into your ideal of what you want. Maybe the ideal that you want has outgrown even you. Maybe you aren't what you used to be. And maybe you, in having an update, need to take a good look at the lady in the mirror, a good look at who and what you need in your life right now. And watch out for that person that's reconnecting, because I feel that that person is not necessarily good for you. If I look at, again, when will you find love, Melissa? And I'm looking at that. And your reading says, I'm going to be honest, I do not see that perfect man for you until the end of summer. Does that mean that that's a bad thing? No. Having the perfect man is not the same as going out and having fun. Start getting practice. Start looking to find healthy relationships or friendships, and never forget your women friends. Understand that supportive women that you go out with are going to help you to be in locations where maybe supportive men are. And if anything else, there's somebody to go out to dinner with, there's somebody to have fun with. It's not just all about the guys. You can have fun in many ways, and you will find someone, but it shows it could be almost 5 to 6 months away. And that's what I have on that, Melissa. All right. So we're looking at Brittany. Brittany says, could you do a relationship reading between myself and my coworker, Turi? He feels a lot like a soulmate, but our relationship seems very up and down. Well, you know what? I kind of have a theory that if someone's meant to be in your life, they will be without having to go out of your way. So let's look at him. And I am looking at Brittany and Turi. And I'm looking at how does he feel for you. Brittany, when I look at how Turi feels for you, your reading says the following. I believe, Turi, that you are getting mixed messages because he has no idea what he wants. It shows that he too feels a connection, but it shows that one of you has just recently had their heart broken and they're still healing. In fact, at this time, I believe that the reason Turi is giving mixed messages is because he's probably still in love with somebody else that he broke up with. And it shows that until that happens, that he finally is healed and moved on from that person, you're going to continue to get mixed messages. Your reading says also to understand that there's a very good possibility he may go back to the person that his heart is broken about. If I look at what is the soulmate connection between you both, what is it that's connecting you both? And your reading shows, Brittany, well, first of all, I believe that he's looking for a rebound. I believe that he's gone through, or one of you has gone through, a divorce or a very rough situation. And it shows because of this, he's not being very aggressive. It also shows that he is a very moody and temperamental person, and that when he starts to not know what he wants, you may notice that he starts to distance and actually become kind of cold. This will cause conflict within you. But I do want to tell you there is a beautiful relationship for you coming in June. This is when the Lovers comes up in your reading. Is this with Turi? If I look at that, just one moment. And when I look at is the person that we see in the future, Turi. Okay, it may be that it is Turi, but I do want to say that what your reading says is he may see you as that person that can wake him up and the therapy girl that can help him get back on track. But don't be surprised if all of a sudden, after you've made a wonderful night of lovemaking with him, that he suddenly puts up boundaries. Your reading says refrain from being his therapist, and whatever you do, make him treat you the way you want to be treated. That means don't do all the work and just take your time. I believe that he's healing from somebody that left him or maybe that he had a bad breakup with. And I think it's really important that you not hurry this guy. In the long run, is Turi worth your time and your effort? And your reading says, yes, I believe that he is. And you will be somebody that heals him, and you will be somebody that I believe wakes him up. And when he wakes up, he'll be able to appreciate you more. But it's not going to be easy. And it also shows that one of you may actually have not come to a complete finish in a divorce or breakup. He may go back to somebody that he has broken up with just to see if it works out. And guess what? It won't. Just as I said, seldom does it work out the second time if it doesn't work out the first time. And your reading says you may have to be patient or not. It's your life. You do what you want. But understand that he is probably not going to completely stop hoping that he can have closure or reconnect with a woman in his past. Do I think he could be a wonderful partner for you? Yes, I do believe he could. But I also feel you need to walk and tread very carefully so that you don't get messed up in this situation. It is not your job to emotionally breastfeed anybody. And that's what I see on that. All right. So if we look at Who else comes up in the room here? And we have all right, we have Jan is in the Young Quick, and she's from LA. Anne Marie, I will be attending an event tomorrow. Do you see my old company offering me to come back to their company? All right, Jan. Usually if somebody wants me to do a career reading, they will tell me the name of the company or the initials of it. But I will tell you what energy comes forth, since I don't have that. And what comes through, Jan, says about tomorrow and the possibilities of being, Jan, I do not see you being asked back tomorrow. I do see you having a fabulous time. I see you having a wonderful connection with whoever you're with tomorrow. But it says that it is very unlikely that they will ask you back. Now, please understand, I'm not a doomsdayer, and I'm not trying to fill you with doubts or sadness, but go with an open mind tomorrow. All things are possible. I think you'll have a great time connecting tomorrow. And I think that even if you don't get in now, maybe just by being there and showing interest, your name is in the hat, and at a later time may be asked back. But I feel not tomorrow. All right. We are looking at okay, Jan asked that question twice. We have Mandy from Massachusetts. She says, I have not had my own place and have rented a room from various people over the years. Can you tell me if I will have my own place this year, that I won't have to rent again? Many, many thanks, Anne Marie. All right, Mandy. If I look at just a reading on what comes up in your year, and this is just starting out with a connection reading on Mandy. Mandy, first thing it says is that you are surrounded by angels and possibilities and wonderful dynamics in 2019. Your reading shows you happy, looking fondly at what you have in front of you. I also show that there will be a helpful support system for you this year. If it is not somebody that cares about you, it seems to be somebody that will be able to help you out on this matter. The past shows that you became easily pressured by what was expected in order to find more than what you had for your space. What I meant by that is it seemed there were obligations, perhaps critical research passed on your history, whatever it was that caused pressuring obstacles. The future shows that the most important thing you can do, excuse me, is be honest about yourself. Excuse me. Getting over the cold there. And understand that I do see good things for you. Your reading started out a fabulous year. I'm going to stick to that. I believe you may have a roommate. I see a roommate with dark hair, dark eyes, and I see it as male. It may be possible for you to share a house or a room or an apartment, nice one, with somebody this year. It also says your greatest fear this year is that you will be stagnant and not find change. But it says be open. Don't allow yourself to think like that. Continue to search for options. If a roommate makes it possible for you to have an apartment rather than just a room, or even possibility of a relationship, then your reading says this will make you an amazing new step for your future. So yes, I see somebody that will be supportive of you. Yes, I see somebody that possibly you will be in a relationship with, or a roommate that will offer you far better options than you have had. In conclusion, it says, the most important thing you can do is stay positive. Don't allow defeat to enter into your mind when it comes to feeling stagnant, trapped, or being stuck in a small space that you're renting. Think big. I feel you can have an apartment. I feel you will find what you want this year. But do consider, if you've had a problem with affording these places, do consider that having a roommate or a situation where you're sharing costs with somebody may be your out for being able to have more this year. And that's what I see on that. All right, we're seeing Russ. Hey, Russ, how you doing?
Oh, hi, Emery. I was just calling to listen tonight. So
How?
yeah.
What can?
Yeah.
What can I
Well,
do
but as
for
long
you?
as you answer my call, but as long
Oh,
as you answer my calls, just if I can answer, if I can ask my wife today at least. Her name's Carrie, and she's been trying to send out some resumes and stuff, and doesn't seem to be getting much of any response at all. So I was just kind of curious to see if you can pick up anything for her.
Carrie. Say her first name again.
Carrie.
All right. So I'm just going to do a little connection reading for her first, okay? And see what comes through. And then I'll answer specifically that question. The first thing I see on Carrie is that physically she's been tired or feeling very frustrated lately. I'm shown that there's been a lot of drama around her. I don't know if that means that both of you have been fighting, or if that means that she feels that the whole workforce is beginning to be a real drag for her. It shows that right now she needs to, and I don't know what this exactly means, but I think that she feels like she can't measure up to herself. And there's a sense that she may be looking for something that is more perfect than she's going to be able to find right away. It shows in the past she's had a chance to have some success and have a great job. And in the future, it says that work history will follow her where she goes to the new job, and I do see her working. I believe that that could happen within 1 month even. But Russ, make sure that you understand conditions concerning this job may be different than what you expected, because she may have to buckle up and do things in a manner or way or schedule that may cause a little bit of conflict for both of you. The last thing that she wants right now is the same old in her life. And she feels like this certainly isn't improving your relationship together. It shows that what she really wants is just to get out of the house and stop feeling like her being without a job is creating drama. And lastly, it says, within 4 months, she seems to be working and seems to be very independent and very stubborn about not wanting to share necessarily every, uh, every, let me put it this way, she seems to not want to have to change the situation at her job that you may find to be an obstacle in the relationship, whether that's conflicting hours or whether that is not making exactly what the money that you wanted her to or that she wants, but there's going to be a huge change in her personality. And I think that change is because it's like going a long time without money and then someone gets a huge amount of money and the first month or 2 or 3 they blow that money on just about anything around them because they feel so happy and liberated that they finally have some cash in their pockets. But I think it's kind of opposite for her. I see her being stingy. I see her not wanting to share. And my feeling is that working for her is not going to necessarily be something that she wants to give in to expectations for the relationship. And she may actually become tighter instead of more liberal with her money. And that says it's just that fact, that feeling of confidence that she gets that she finally has some cash at hand. So what am I saying, Russ? I'm saying that yes, I see a job for her. I feel there could be a job either in the next month, at the latest 4 months. I'm feeling that she desperately is tired of the drama within the household and she just wants to get out of the house. But on the other hand, I think that having her work, have a life, have coworkers, and having money in her pocket may create a sense of liberation in her that you haven't seen in a while. And maybe for a while, there'll be kind of a change in her personality that you may not like. But it shows ultimately you'll both get it figured out. She'll have a way to contribute. And don't let her joblessness cause conflict within the household. She's going to find a job. And that's what I see on that, Russ.